All right, I am recording now. Let's go ahead and get going, and hopefully the invites I sent out and people will see us down here and hop in. All right.
Sure thing. Thanks.
All right, I am seeing your screen now, so I think others can too. Now, in this stage, everybody can control their own microphone. So just unmute if you have questions or you have something you want Rob to show you. Just unmute it, and we'll go from there. Good morning, Rob. Thank you so very much for being with us. Now, we're really excited to see the ins and outs of the StockTools.App. It's a platform and website built by a trader for traders, and I'm very excited to get into it. Been using it for a little while. Definitely enjoying what it offers, and we wanted to make sure that it got spread out and the information was spread out to other users. So go ahead and take it away, good sir.
Excuse me. Sorry. Awesome. Thank you so much for the kind intro. And thanks you guys for showing up and listen to a crazy person rant about stocks and options on a Saturday morning. Greatly appreciate it. So yeah, my name's Rob. I am a options trader. I've been selling options for really like full time. I would say like 5 years, ever since COVID started. For the most part, it was around that time. It was actually like February, right before COVID started. I started getting back into options trading. And then I was working at a company and I had a bunch of shares of, company stock. And I was like, all right, once I, leave this company, I'm going to start, I can just sell calls against my company shares and I'll be fine. Kind of thing. And I was like, wait a second, what am I doing? What am I doing waiting? I could sell some of these shares and start doing it right now on Microsoft or Nvidia or whoever. So I kind of went slowly at first, and then I started, putting together. I started getting really into it, and as I think we all have at this point, as we got hooked on all the YouTube videos, and we're watching and finding out all the strategies, and there's there's so many different things you can do. I started building out my own spreadsheets. I have, a whole bunch of different, a whole bunch of strategies. I was building out like all these different scenarios and trying to figure out, all right, if I buy, 100 shares, if I have, 2 lots of Apple and 3 lots of Amazon and 2 lots of TQQQ or whatever, and trying to figure out, how to generate income really. And so, actually, if I just jump into this, I pretty much have, you know what? I'll show you guys real quick. It's interesting, I think. Just the original is like me, into the minds of a crazy person, of like looking of like all these different plans. I would like make all these different spreadsheets, and I would be like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this put. I'm going to do this strategy, or this plan B, or this, whatever. And so I'm building out all these different strategies and sheets, and I'm trying to figure out, what do I need to generate income? And so, and so I ended up thinking like, well, I saw a post on Reddit at one point of somebody building an option screener, and I was like, I could build that. Yeah, I'm a software engineer. I've been building web and mobile apps for like 20 years. So I kind of got a little maybe jealous, or like I was like, I could build something cooler than that, as from what I saw in somebody's post on Reddit. So I kind of got addicted to building it, and I've been building like way too many features and all kinds of really cool stuff in here. So I guess I'll just start jumping into some features. I wanted to just kind of focus on covered calls today, and maybe cash secured puts, depending on how long we go. I don't know how high level I should go. If you guys want like a high level overview, I do have a very specific covered call calculator in here. It's really simple. You just put in your ticker. Right now it's set to Nvidia, but if we could put anything in here. We can put in Amazon. We'll select Amazon. We can very easily pump up the shares or the lots.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah,
Why don't we start with just the basics. If I went and signed up for it, what am I going to see? What I'm going to need to do, and where do I go to do the different
sure.
things that the platform offers?
Sure, definitely. Yeah, so signing up right off the bat, actually, it's 2 weeks free. So you have if you guys want to try it out, feel free to come on, sign up, kick the tires. Um, no credit card required. You just create an account. You get everything in the whole app will work for you right out of the box. Um, After those 2 weeks, you kind of go into a nerfed mode where you can only have one portfolio, and you don't have access to all of the tools. You only have access to some of the tools, and some of the tools are nerfed to be just like Mag 7 only. So like that screen I was just showing here, this covered call calculator, if you're on a free account, it will work only for the Mag 7. You can do Apple, all the Mag 7 stocks. But yeah, you can go, this part of the problem is I think I've made too big of a website, or there's too many different things to do. But you can do all, those options tools has all kinds of different really interesting options, deep dives. We have a full options chain where you can see, I like to call it like your cockpit for an options trader, where it has all of the things that you care about in here, as well as deep dives into GEX, expected move. You can see the volume of the options chain. There's a whole IV section as well, breaking down the IV metrics. And then the options chain itself is, I designed it in a way, excuse me. I designed it in a way to show the metrics that a option seller actually cares about, right? Like it's not like one of the main things that we care about is extrinsic, right? Like actually, let me change to a later date so we have a bigger expected move. So I guess let's start from the left. So on the strike, if you ever use Tasty Trade, they show a really nice kind of banner that shows where the expected move is for the stock for that strike. And so I'm just trying to highlight, pretty much copying that same feature and trying to show, hey, here's where their expected move is, so you can get some visibility into where the expected move is for that strike. And then moving to the right, last price. This is the last price that was traded for that option. Intrinsic is super important. If you guys don't know, intrinsic is the actual value that's inside the option from the current price to from the strike price to the current price, right? So, if we're $3.55 in the money, $6.05 in the money is pretty much the in the money amount is what your intrinsic amount is, and then your extrinsic amount is your time value. And actually, I do have that. Another thing, I try to teach a man to fish kind of attitude, right? Like all of this stuff is really complicated, and there's a lot of like weird words and formulas and things like that in options trading. I try to add tooltips all over the place, and trying to make it so people can actually learn what this stuff is and not just see all these numbers everywhere and are confused. Like even in this scenario for the extrinsic, I try to put like a little calculation in there that shows it's the option price minus the intrinsic value gives you your extrinsic value. So these aren't like super complicated. This one in particular isn't super complicated, but it's good to know, what the calculation is.
Okay, so for somebody who's not, let's say, super in tune with doing options and trying to kind of get started in this, what is the number one tool that you recommend that they go to first?
Yeah, I would probably say the screener. I think the screener, trying to find trades is important. It's something
Okay,
I
so
do a lot.
how would I go about doing that? So is this when I don't own any shares, or I'm looking to do some puts so that I can generate some cash secured puts? How am I going to go about this?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, coming to the screener, you can do both. I guess working from the top down, you can select, I have these pre-built groups of different tickers, right? And so we can click into any of these, I don't know, some meme stock one or biotech high flyers, founder led, whatever. I have all of these different pre-built groups that you can select from.
Okay, so walk me through this. I'm new to options. I've been in the ROD Discord. I'm seeing everybody talking about it, and I've got some cash aside. And let's say I also have say 100 shares in Nvidia, 100 shares of Palantir. How would I
Sure.
go about this? So I have some cash aside. So let's say I feel like I want to try cash secured puts, and then I also own 100 shares of Nvidia and 100 shares of Palantir. How am I going to use this tool to help me?
Sure. I would come in and so what I did is I just added Nvidia and Palantir right here in the add ticker, and added to the selected tickers here. And then because you have 100 shares, I would sell a covered call against it. You can easily come here and select your days to expiration. You want to do 45 DTE, do the tasty trade way. You can select your delta. We could do a max strike price, a min strike price. You check the IV and all that. If we were filtering, a lot, like you can filter up to 100 tickers or actually 500 tickers in this screener, and so you could actually add some filter criteria. We'll just run this real quick, just so you could see. But yeah, so we have it set for covered call, and it went through the options chain and found the 45 DTE. It actually found the 48 DTE. Wow, 165 strike too. Wow.
Yeah.
Way out there.
Wow, right?
That's far. That's far out of the money. But yeah, also expected move in that time frame is 23%.
Okay, so
20%.
just go through this for us if we're not doing so from left to right. So what you did is you put in the two stocks that I own, and you're saying,
Yes.
okay, now I do some covered calls on this, and then I set up basically the criteria. So whether that's a 1 week or it's a 45 days, you're making that selection based on what you know or what you're thinking about, and then the website or the tool goes out and finds those so that you can see them clearly without all the rest of the noise. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so instead of seeing, looking at an option chain like we were previously, there's a ton of options to pick from, if especially like, and actually I can do this, I'll do this really quickly too, but imagine, I do this for the QQQ for 100 stocks. So we can do the same thing for the Qs, where we can find all the 20 delta calls for all the tickers in the QQQ, and then starting from left to right, it finds the contract. It tells you how much collateral you'll need, what's the IV, what's the expected move. The premium yield. The premium yield is actually just the covered call itself. And it's just taken into account if you were to sell the call and collect 100% of the premium. That's what the percentage would be earned in that time frame. And then there's an if assigned column. If assigned is something that I don't think a lot of people think about, but like when your covered call is assigned, I think it's usually your best case scenario, right? Like that's a max gain. Usually like people get mad when their covered calls get challenged, but it's like, hey, you made 20% in that scenario, right? Like if you put this trade on where you bought 100 shares and you sold the 440 strike, you would have made 20%, which is not so bad, and it would have been
all right
annualized to 155.
Can we roll back just a little bit here? So
yeah, sure thing.
On AMAT, so what you did is you put in the Qs, and it's now giving you a long laundry list of
we have every single ticker in the Qs
so
sorted
as I'm
by.
looking from left to right, I'm seeing the stock, its current price, and then the reflection of where it probably moved, what, for a day or for a week? What is that percentage underneath this 371.46?
Oh yeah, that's the daily move.
So that's the daily move, and then
exactly. That's
based on my criteria, it shows me the strike price that I would be selecting, how much
Yep.
collateral I need.
Yes, exactly.
And if I'm doing a call, though, it's because I own the shares, unless you're doing a naked call, which means that you don't own the shares and you're doing it
Sure.
with cash, right? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
then
this
the
would be the
IV is what we've all learned if we're doing any kind of high yield investment. The IV is the implied volatility of that particular stock at the time during the duration of the expiration. Is that correct?
yes, correct.
And then the implied move. Can you explain the implied move just a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, that's the range. It's like bounding blocks. It's like the bookends of the range that the options market has priced in that time frame. So in that 45-day time frame, they're expecting it's priced in to be a 24% move in either direction.
And that move is during the time period of the selection or the expiration that
Yes.
you selected. So that would change if you went to say 120 days or you went down to 14 days. That number would change.
Yeah, that is it's dynamic based on the options expiration.
All right. And then the next column where it says 2.05, what is that showing me?
This is the premium yield. So this is when you sell the call, and it's really just the call, the extrinsic amount in the call really is what that is. And
so that the 2% is over that 45-day period, or is that an annualized
yes.
number?
Yeah, there is it's 2% over the 45-day period, and then annualized it would be 15%, 15.5%.
All right, and then to the right of it is if it gets called away, that's showing me how much of a gain I've made on that particular things. Does that include the premium and the share price growth, or just the share price growth?
Yeah, it's both. It's the 2% of the call combined with the price move up to 440, or up to the strike price of the call.
Okay, and then what's the next number? I think I'm seeing 85. What's that telling me?
Yeah, so this is the rating, right? So this is just a score that I've put together based on combining some of these metrics together, right? So this is my own personal scoring methodology that takes into account the income, so the option premium as a percentage of the stock price, the time safety, the days to expiration risk assessment. So actually a shorter dated call would be kind of a negative detractor here. The longer, kind of the better. The liquidity, so the bid and the ask spread and the on the actual options chain. And so is there a 5 or 10% spread on the options chain, then it would get a lower score, or if it has a tight bid and ask, it goes higher. Assignment upside, so the profit if the shares are called away. So like how much movement there is, or how much, I guess, how much distance there is from the current price to the strike price of the call you're selling. And then risk management, the overall position risk management. So there's some metrics under there around IB, honestly, to see like the higher the IB, the riskier.
Right, so I'm seeing 85 there. Would it be correct if I'm making an assumption that 85 is a pretty good score?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we can.
So for somebody who's somewhat new to this and they're looking at something they hold, where would you, obviously not financial advice, but where would you say you want to be on this number to be comfortable in selecting that trade?
I usually stick to the first page, like 60 or 70, the higher the better, in my opinion. Personally.
Okay, so
but
with this, do you recommend at all in doing the naked calls, or should I actually own these shares to be able to do a covered call?
Yeah, I never recommend a naked call ever, honestly. I will sometimes do like naked strangles, just so you have the put side helping you a little bit, but with some long deltas there. But I don't know, the market. I know it's been very bearish recently, but every time I've done a naked call, it gets challenged and you get pretty wrecked.
When we say
Usually. So,
naked call, what we're saying is doing a call when you don't own the shares, right? That's what we're saying?
yeah, exactly. You're doing because so when you're selling a call, you're going negative delta. You're doing negative delta, right? So you're selling a long call is long delta, a short call is
Okay.
short delta, right?
Can you
So
can you just in case somebody doesn't know, can you in layman's terms say what a long delta is and a short delta is?
sure. Yeah. So actually, let me go. I'm going to go into the options chain real quick and explain it maybe a little bit easier. Um, but you see this delta column here, and it says rate of change. This is the technical term for it, or the technical definition, the rate of change of the option price relative to $1 change in the underlying price. But the way I always look at delta is 1.01 delta equals one share, right? So when let's say we bought this this 260 call for 0.597, that means it's like we're holding 60 shares, really. 0.59 shares is what it is the way that this long call acts. And so when the stock price goes up $1, you're going to make 60 cents on the dollar.
Right.
When you're
So
short delta, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no problem. Now, I'd always heard or had delta explained to me as the quasi percentage of that being or that option actually happening. Is that not accurate then?
Yeah, it's not really like it works out like that, but it's not really the it's not really like an actual percentage, right? It's
Okay.
supposed to be the way the Greek works is it is actually like how much the price moves or the price of the option moves relative to the price of the stock. And it is a live metric, right? So as price goes up, this delta will go up as well.
It will change.
It will change. It is a living thing, for sure. So yeah, so I like to look at them as each 0.01 delta is equal to like one share in my opinion. So and so when you're selling a 20 delta call, a 25, 26 delta call, you're going short 20 deltas, right? And so as that price moves towards that 20 delta call, this 20 delta call could become a 50 delta call as price gets to 275 once it goes up from 260 to 275. And now you're short, instead of being short 20 shares, you're short 50 shares at that point, right? So
Got it. So the risk is theoretically your risk or exposure has expanded then.
right, exactly. So
Okay.
you need something on the other side. You need long deltas to kind of counteract that position or that movement, right? And so
All right, so let's take a step back because if
yeah,
I'm
sure.
doing a covered call, based on the recommendation and most everything else I've heard, you want to own the shares. So therefore, when you're doing that, you're looking for a strike and an expiration that's going to work well. So can you show me how I might see that? So let's say instead of doing the whole queues, let's say I own NVIDIA. I have a couple
Sure.
hundred shares of NVIDIA. How do I get to use this tool to determine which strike, which expiration is going to be something that's going to fit for me?
Sure. This is a covered call analyzer. This was actually one of the first tools I made, but you can get to it here by going to options and then down to covered call calculator. It's pretty simple. So let's say we have NVIDIA, we have 200 shares. I have a little strategy selector over here where you can select, target delta manually, or you could, select your kind of your goals for the strategy. Are you trying to generate income? Are you more conservative? For income, you usually go around 30 delta. For conservative, you go to 20 delta. If you're aggressive, you would sell a 40 delta. The closer to at the money, the more income you're going to generate, but the less upside you're going to capture. Or if you're defensive, you would go, actually in the money or at the money for a 50 delta. But we'll stick to.
Okay, so we do have a question. I want to make sure we
Yeah,
honor
sure.
those completely. So Hot Dog is saying, I was going to let him work through the site. I did want to see the AI integration on 0 DTE on SPX. So
Okay.
do you think we could
Sure.
pop there to make sure we get to that today?
Yeah. I can do that. I don't support SPX specifically. I can do SPY. Um, that's just an extra like $1,000 a month for my
Yeah,
data provider.
for that API with the CBOE, they charge a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a lot already for all of these tickers. But I did just want to. We'll just finish up here real quick,
Yes.
and I'll hop over to that stuff. So I have it for set up here for the 30 delta. It's going to, and actually it'll pick, another thing here. So like if you do have your portfolio set up, it'll have your portfolio positions in here, and you can, come in and click select, and it'll pre-populate all of this stuff for you. It just has a bunch of my test accounts in here. So this is a visualization trying to show the actual trade itself, which is, I think, pretty cool.
Well,
So you can see
that is
price.
very cool. So this is the covered call on NVIDIA at whatever
Mhm.
one we pick based on our risk profile.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. So we can see this is the actual price of NVIDIA over time. And then we can see this box right here is the expected move for that actual time frame. Um, And so actually what we have down here is we have the selected weekly, 30-day, 60-day. So if I click 30-day, it'll actually expand. So you can see the full expected move over the 30-day time frame or the 60-day time frame. So you can get kind of this visualization of where the price is and where what could happen, what's the expected move, and where things could go in that time frame.
And with
Um,
the emphasis from Tasty Trade and some of the others on 45 days, is that something that's going to be coming to this, or are we going to stick with the 30 and 60 days?
Yeah, I just have 30 and 60. I definitely could add 45 day. Honestly, I'm also trying to like this was I I know it's like I don't want to jump around too much, but I have a different one that's like a different ways to try to where was it? Wheel options on wheel. Yeah, there it is. I'm trying to figure out different ways to try and let people select their options.
Got it.
Right. So I have a different way as well here for you to uh instead of just seeing those three options there, having you be able to pick any of the, any of the DTEs you want, right? So you could come in here and you could select the 48 DTE, and it'll do
Oh, perfect.
a similar thing. But I haven't actually. Actually, I should put this one live. I got to add this one. But honestly, and I think I've said this before in the Discord. I think my biggest problem is I have a lot of similar tools here. Like I have a covered strangle calculator. That is actually really similar to this, and I have a covered call calculator and I have a cash secured put calculator. I have like separate pages for each one of these, and I really just need to combine them all together into like one super calculator to rule them all, kind of thing. And this
Right.
was
So can you go back to the where it was displaying the
yeah,
trade? How does this help me, and what am I trying to glean from this before I hit
sure,
the buy or sell button?
yeah. So for this, I'm trying to figure out uh, which trade is going to generate the most income for me personally when I'm looking at stuff. That's what I'm always trying to figure out. What's the most income I can generate at any time? Um, so trying to figure out jumping between these three options. What's the most yield? I can get 1% in a 6-day time frame versus 2.5% over 27 days versus 2.5% over 60 days. But in each of those scenarios, you're going further out of the money. Your strike price is higher, so you're going to get more if price does go up. So it's kind of just looking through those trade-offs of trying to figure out, what is the um,
Okay, so this
yeah,
this is giving me the kind of data to say, okay, which one do I like? And if I'm looking at that, the weekly is giving me 0.9. To
hmm
to be equitable, at the same risk, would I be wanting like 3.8% on the 30-day, or is that kind of like something I shouldn't be thinking about?
It's definitely personal preference, right? Like whenever I'm trying to sell an option personally, I try to like at least get 1%. That's like always my goal, is like I'm like, in a little mental math that I like to do is just looking at the strike price to the premium that you're collecting, right? And it's usually pretty close of like, hey, if the strike price is 185, I want to collect somewhere near there. I want to collect, 174. Or I want to collect if it's $20 stock, I want to collect, 20 cents on the contract, and it's
Okay, so
that's just the way I like to trade personally. But
yeah, well, we love hearing how you like to trade, because you have done it and for a long period of time. You built this, which means you have a deeper understanding than say I do, or maybe some others. So I love hearing at least how you're looking at it. So that makes sense to me. All right, so we've gone through this, and then picking a covered call would be based on kind of what I own, right? So
yes, yeah,
before I go back and hop into a cash secured put, do you think we can answer Hot Dog's questions? So make sure that we get that in.
sure, yeah, totally. Um, so starting with AI integration, right? So for AI, there's two there. So this is almost like an AI screener, really, is the way this works, right? So there's two different there's fundamental analysis and technical analysis, right? So your fundamental analysis is the stock's actual fundamentals. See, sorry, Steven, I had to mute you. So on the left side is fundamental analysis, right? So I'm taking all of the stock's actual real fundamentals. Sorry, I want to show you guys real quick. I got TNA in the brain. So if I go into Apple, I actually have like a full financial section. If you deep dive into stocks, and you can come here and see their income statements and their operating income and liabilities and cash flow and financial ratios, and you can actually see all their SEC filings and all that stuff as well. So I take all those into account, and I send those over to ChatGPT. And then same thing with technical analysis, right? So from the technical side, I have this isn't very good. I need to update this page. But I do have MACD, moving averages, and RSI, and all those things. And so what this is doing is it's taking into what do you care about? Do you care more about the technical analysis, or do you care more about the quality of the company and the fundamentals? And then I'm to usually balance, but let's just say you can come here, you can pick any group of tickers that you want, and we'll just hit run and have it start sending it over. And so what this is doing is it's gathering up all that data, it's sending over to ChatGPT, and then generating a score for each ticker based on the fundamentals and the technical analysis and the current trends, right? So if a stock is doing poorly and the RSI is way down and it's on a downtrend, it'll get a lower score than a stock that is up and to the right currently. Awesome. So we got Sunbeck already, and we can see, and similarly to the other screener, I'll show the analysis part first, where it gave a nice summary where it's saying, explaining the breakdown. It's showing your profitability score, where it's saying, the Apple shows robust profit margins, higher return on expenditure, consistent revenue and growth based on financial reports. It talks about the liquidity and their growth and their earnings growth trajectory. And then similarly, from a technical analysis standpoint, it's looking at the RSI, the momentum, and the trend. And then it's finally coming up with the score, applying the weightings, and then gives it an overall score. And it just did that for all these different stocks, and then yeah, and then it's just more like an AI screener almost, trying to take all those things into account. And I'm wondering if I'm going to show you guys a feature that is blocked. Let's see. Let me go to a different screen real quick and see if I can fix it. Because so what I have is I have a /options/ask warrant. I can't remember now at this point. No, it's all right. So I have an AI chat integration where you can talk to an AI about stocks. Like the idea that I honestly I haven't and I haven't exposed it yet because I don't want people to use all my AI credits and spend a bunch of money. I need to build a credit system or something like that where people can talk to AI and not burn up my my AI bill. But the idea is taking your positions from your portfolio and being able to easily ask GPT or whoever, Grok or whoever, whichever AI I decide to use for it, and talk to the AI about your trades in your portfolio. Right, it's really easy for me to grab a existing position from your portfolio and put that in there. We're having an issue here. Sorry, I have a small bug here. There we go.
All right, I just wanted to, Hot Dog, if you unmute yourself, did you get your questions answered, or was there still one or two that you had there? I see you unmuted, but I don't hear you. I'm sorry. All right, you might be having a little
No
difficulty
worries.
getting through. I want to make sure that he gets his questions
No
answered.
worries at all. Oh, he's typing now.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is and I know his other question was about portfolio, zero DTE. I can jump into that as well.
Yeah, so his question is,
Sure.
Portfolio management, is there any sort of journal tracking?
Yeah, so we can make we go to new portfolio. I can create a new portfolio. We'll call it Hot Dog. You create a new portfolio. This flow I need to work on, honestly. And I have an alpha banner underneath the portfolios. This is where I need to spend a lot of time. We can come in. The idea here that in the portfolio, and this was part of the other reason why I wanted to build this site, was I was trying to make a wheel tracker almost, right? So the idea is let's say you do have 100 shares of NVIDIA, you sell a call against it, you get that money back, and then you're like, all right, does my cost basis change? How much? I want to know how much premium I've collected over. You do that same covered call 5 weeks in a row. You want to know how much you made over time, right? You don't want to manage a spreadsheet kind of thing. So inside the portfolio, you have portfolios. Inside portfolios, you have positions, and inside those positions, you have trades. So if we, create an NVIDIA portfolio or NVIDIA position, we can create a trade here where we add shares. We'll add 100 shares, and then we will, sell the 180 call here. This is the trade form. It's able to create this 100 shares. You can add your stocks. You can update the actual price that you paid for them, and then we can hit save, and it's going to save the portfolio. And then now we have our trade in here. Inside this, yeah. Let's see. What do I want to talk about? So we have the full showing the delta. So just like I was saying before, right? So, the delta is, the long delta of 100 minus the 35 delta of the call gets you to 65 long delta. So, this position, you have 100 shares, you sold the one call. It's like, price is going to move like you have 65 shares instead of 100 shares. But you're, hopefully going to capture this $1.23 in that time frame. Yeah, let's see what else. There's so much on the screen. I'm like, what do I want to share? What do I want to talk about? Yeah, and so like, there's a lot of cool stuff in here actually. So one thing you can do, so like one thing I really like about Tasty Trade is being able to group your trades together. So it's like it generated like this little group here, but you can come into this organized trades mode, and you could actually like rename this to covered call. Hopefully it works. Everything works. Okay. We'll switch back to table view, and now we have your covered call group. So let's say even if you did have multiple trades of NVIDIA inside the same position, you can group together the individual trades. So like let's say you did have a we switched to puts. Let's say we sold the 65 put. We'll save that, and so we can see the put is separate from the covered call, and we could still go in and organize this trade. And if we wanted to, create a new trade group, it's a little, we'll just say CSP for cash secured put, and we can drag. Oh, target group not found. Nope, fail. Won't live demo fail.
Yeah. While I'm doing that, while you're doing that, Stephen, if you could mute yourself, that would be wonderful. I think some people are picking up your mic as it's unmuted. So if you don't mind just muting yourself, that'd be wonderful. All right, go ahead, Rob.
Oh, sure thing. Yeah, I guess I muted him, but I guess it only worked for me. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I guess I found a bug there. But the idea is you're able to create these groups, and then you can customize the groups that so you have you could have your covered call together. You could have if you're doing strangles at the same time on different expirations, and you're doing all kinds of trades. You just like trading one ticker, but you're doing multiple positions across the same ticker, just like the idea of like a Tasty, where you can group positions and kind of keep them organized.
All right, so to be able to track my trades and have the results like you're talking about, I'm going to need to input my portfolio. Is that accurate?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Do you mind going back to where you inputted your portfolio and show us how easy that is?
Sure. Yeah. So, let's say we're here, we're on NVIDIA, we have, this trade, and I want to put on another trade. You can click add trade, and you come to this screen, which is like the trade form. The idea here is you can add shares. We have like a strategy builder where all the legs, of the option will be added here. We can add shares, so you can select your shares. You can select any option in the options chain. You can go through all the different expirations. You can, widen this to show, all the options that you want. It's the same, options chain that you'd see here in the options chain as well. So you have, a whole bunch more data if you want to add it. It gets a little busy, but yeah, so you can go through all of them. You can buy a trade, buy that call. You can sell this one, and they all get added to this strategy all together in one. I have been working on the risk graph, I guess is the best way to call it. It's not perfect. It's not as good as optionstrat.com yet, but I am working on it. But it's just trying to show, as price goes up, you're going to max out, and as price goes down, you can see your P&L as price moves inside of here. You can add notes as well, right? So you can add notes in here. You could add a screenshot as well, right? So if you wanted to come in and say, feeling bullish, and then come into, come in, and you could be like, whatever, feeling bullish, not feeling bullish right now on NVIDIA. They used the wrong time.
Yeah, they really come in. They really punished NVIDIA after a good
earnings, right? After earnings, man. After earnings is brutal. But yeah, so you can come in, you can paste the screenshot right in here, and save it for your own future reference, so you can come back and be like, what the hell was I thinking when I put this trade on? It's like, oh, that's what I was thinking.
Okay,
Upload
but
screenshot.
initially when I come in here, the thing that you're recommended to do is go ahead and create your portfolio, put in the items that you have, and then once I make
Sure.
my trades, you come in here and you mirror those trades so that it's then tracking it for you.
Yeah, exactly. And so imagine, a week goes by and, this call starts decaying over time. You can come in and be like, I bought this to close for 23 cents back and I got my dollar, right? So, excuse me. So you got your $100. We close the trade and it's not update. Sorry, it's didn't update. So yeah, so I just refreshed the page there because I have a refresh bug, but yeah, so it was able to capture that $100. I don't know why I feel like I'm missing a column here. There we go. Realize P&L. I'm like, what is going on? Why is realize P&L not visible? But I must have unclicked it at one point. That's why I'm losing my mind. I'm like, where are all my columns? That's better. Sorry, I was a little nervous there for a minute. I'm like, where are all my columns? So you can go through this a little bit better now. So now it's showing that we realized $100, right? That trade's closed and it's gone. We can see, if we have filters here as well, so we can see right now we're only looking at open, but if we hit closed, it would show that one closed call that we just closed, or we can hit all and it'll show the closed call inside the group that was in before. And so we have realized P&L, unrealized P&L. So that's what we have open right now. The current value is what we've paid. What we paid for the current shares. Here's what the credits we received. Actually, that seems too much. That might too much. I don't know. I'm not doing public math right now. Yeah. So the credits and the debits is like from a wheel strategy, from an option seller standpoint, that's like kind of what you care about, right? Like how much did I pay versus how much did I get back, and what's your net premium, right? So we've bought 180 shares, or we bought 100 shares at 177. We've bought this 970 call. We've sold this call. We've sold this put. And taking all that together to figure out what your premium is, your credits and your debits, and eventually the idea is like as you keep selling calls, your realized P&L goes up, and your net premium is going to go down as well, as your cost basis pretty much.
All right, so
there's another cool. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So this is gonna allow me to dump like all the individual spreadsheets and things that I do when I put in the trades that I make, have it here and have it all in one place where I can see the trades in real time as well as the ones that, historically that I've done, and help me evaluate what I'm doing.
Yes, exactly. There is one other quick way I want to show you guys how to so there is something cool. I have this like quick entry thing in here, so you can even talk to it, right? So you can say things like sold the let's see, let me allow testing 1 2 3. There we go. Sold the 180 call for March 20th. And so I can send that over, and you can type that into if you want. Didn't find it. Rip, potato chip. Didn't find it. Come on, man. But the idea is it's supposed to find the trade. It's supposed to find the trade for you, but it didn't. Let me try again. The other thing you can do too is take a screenshot. So I'm just gonna log into my Fidelity on another window here, so you guys don't see the goods, and just show you how you can paste a screenshot as well. But maybe this demo will break as well. We'll see. So And so I just pasted a screenshot where, I bought 100 shares of Apple and I sold the 275 call for it, right? And so if I tell it to process screenshot, it's doing a similar thing where it's sending that over to ChatGPT. No, oh, right, I'm on NVIDIA. Duh. Let me do that then. You're right.
I hate it when it's right.
Seriously. Interesting. Why is it saying no cost basis for this one? For some reason, it's saying no cost basis, so I'm interested into what it'll pick. It'll probably just pick what the current cost basis is. Yeah, never mind. All right, never mind. This is broken. I probably should have tested this one before I showed it off. But
yeah, we appreciate it very much. I mean, it's an extremely interesting tool, and I, as somebody who tracks all the trades that I make, and I'm doing them, on multiple stocks, both the covered calls as well as some cash secured puts, some iron condors, some poor man covered calls. I can see the tremendous value in this in things, but I've got only about 10, 12 more minutes. So
sure.
If you wanted to try to go through, let's say I'm entering your platform for the first time, give me the top 3 or 4 things I need to do right away, so that if somebody said, okay, I want to use this, I love it, let me explore it, going to take advantage of the free 2-week trial where I get all the tools available to me. What are the first, so I don't waste my time, what are the first 3 or 4 things I want to do once I enter your platform?
Yeah, I would say probably create a portfolio and start trying to track your trades. I think that's important, right? So coming in here and there's something else that I did want to show as well, which is I have a rolling engine in here. The idea here is it's going to, this is a whole nother so this could be a 20-minute conversation explanation, but the idea is trying to help people to figure out whether you should roll your trade or not, right? And so where you're at in the current position, is there enough data left on the position? So I think, I think coming in and creating a portfolio and just trying to track your trades, it'll definitely be helpful. I think, so we have you'll be able to see all the information about your covered call. You'll be able to see all of the information about your trade over time, and you'll start to get into the swing of things of actually tracking your trades, which is also an important step of being an adult trader, I guess.
I'm loving that. That's one of the places where admittedly, I don't know if struggle is the right word, but I get conflicted, and that's in rolling. I try to stick to certain rules,
Sure.
But sometimes I want to understand how much is left in the theta value compared to the row and all those things. So I feel like I'm a better trader. So I love this as an option in here.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. One of the biggest things about rolling is what's your intrinsic versus your extrinsic, right? And so trying to figure out how much money, when we're selling options, we're selling time. And so how much time value is left on the position, right? And so I've gone through and I've created, a bunch of different parameters. And you mentioned row. I don't even look at row. I should, that's another one I should start looking at. But yeah, I'm really looking at the current delta, the theta, the gamma, what's the time left on the contract, what's the current price versus the strike price, where you're at in the moneyness, and then also looking at the intrinsic and the extrinsic, right? And then looking at all of those from really just a number standpoint and trying to figure out whether it makes sense to roll or not based on those parameters, right? And so
based on your score up there, it says hold position 58 out of 100. So you're saying that it's suggesting, or at least offering, the score that says maybe I want to hold this position for a little longer.
Yeah, exactly. So you do have a little bit of money left on the contract, and there are some negative values, right? You are in the money technically on this contract, so it's calling that out and saying the new strike increases assignment risk, or actually it looks like it's picking the same strike here. This one's kind of out of order, I guess. Maybe the system recommendation should go after this section here, because this section is actual selecting the targets, right? So I have a couple of different strategies where you're like defensive escape is that is for when your contract is in the money and you're trying to just get up and out. Really, you're just trying to get underwater. Harvest crush is when you're trying to just do a normal roll where you're just capturing and rolling up and out to the next cadence or the next expiration. This one's actually going way out though. This I don't know why this is going all the way 202 days out, but Fortress Wall is another one where you're trying to be defensive, for a really high IV stock. The system will also try to pick one and recommend one for you, and and auto selected this recommended one here, and that's what the score is based on, right? And so let's see, what else do I want to show in here? There's a lot of information on this.
Yeah, it's a lot. Can you go back to where we'd actually put in our portfolio and give us a quick example of how to input your portfolio?
Yeah, sure. So from portfolios, you'd select new portfolio. This is a bad flow. I'm just mad. I'm mad at myself for not fixing this. And we'll say another test portfolio, test port. My cash balance is 100,000.
Now that's the full amount of what's in the account then, right?
This is just cash balance. I think like this is something else I need to work on. Honestly, it's like this is something that needs to get approved, I would say. I think I have a bug. Or maybe all you guys are going on I have 5 people on my website right now and it's not working. So we made the test port. It was a little buggy. Sorry guys. I'll work on my on this portfolio creation. We can add a position of we'll say Palantir. And like I was saying before, a position is kind of your group for all stocks or all trades for a single stock. So let's say we bought 100 shares of Palantir, and then we sell an out of the money call, and we have those trades here. We could see we bought 100 and we sold that, and we hit save. And now we have our position of our covered call for Palantir. We can do the same for multiple tickers. We can do, we'll say hood. We can do something similar here. We'll add some shares. What happened there? We'll sell.
So Hot Dog is asking, is there a way to import existing trades, or do you have to enter them each one manually?
Yeah, so I am working on auto import. So there's this tool, SnapTrade, where it's similar if you ever use Plaid for financial apps.
Sure.
Where you connect and you connect to your account and everything just kind of auto syncs. I am working on that behind the scenes. It is pretty tricky to full transparency. And so let me go to this one. This one is let me find one that's actually working. So this was a synced portfolio. So let's see if I sync here. Some of these trades should change, hopefully. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe so. I don't know. But yeah, I'm very much working on this behind the scenes. It's very tricky. Similarly, so I have it working right now where it can sync and kind of update the whole portfolio, but we need to also run through all of the historical trades as like an engine almost, right? So you need to so you can process every trade. So if there's been trades that have opened and closed in between the time frame from the last sync to the current time, we need to actually process every individual trade on its own through the engine so that your credits and debits, the realized P&L and these numbers actually add up properly. and all the trades would show up here, and your open and close trades and all that stuff, right? So you want to capture everything, and that's the hard part, honestly. I can sync and show all this stuff easy, but the engine part is hard. So I've been working through that behind the scenes for too long. And I should say also, this is like my side job. This is like this is my labor of love that I do on the nights and weekends, kind of thing.
Yeah, please know there's no judgment here. The tool and the capacity to use it, even in the format that it is right now, is spectacular and wonderful. So after I create my portfolio and put it in there, then I'm going to basically look at what I want based on the trades that I want to make. So one last thing before we cut out today. So let's go back. Let's say I put in my portfolio. I have some cash sitting on the side, and I want to do some cash card puts. How do I go in and find what I might want to then select? I mean, what criteria do I have to understand to input, and then how does it select and show me for my cash on Monday what's going to be the best cash secured put that I want to take?
Sure. Let's do this with the whole SPY. We'll do it with the whole SPY. So let's say we have all the tickers in the whole SPY. We select cash secured put here, and for anyone that wasn't here earlier too, we can do calls, puts. We can even do spreads as well. We can do call credit spreads, put credit spreads, debit spreads as well if you want to go long. And so we'll select cash secured put. We'll just keep it at 30 days. We'll go a little bit safer. We'll say 20 delta. The minimum premium yield, that is a filter of saying like, okay, I want to collect at least 0.5% on the trade. I'm just going to put it to 1 just to try to get more results. We can do min and max strike price. So let's say you only have $10,000. You can do 10 is your max strike price, right? Something like that, right? So. And so similarly for IV, if you want to go high IV or low IV, or like saying, give me, and I don't want anything under 20, or I don't want anything under 50, or over 50. I want to only deal with safer or less volatile.
Yeah, so because the higher the IV, the more volatile the stock is, and that makes it a little less safe.
But it also makes it have more premium, so a
little more juicy, right?
Right. So yeah, so it was able to. No, actually, it looks like max strike price filter did not work there.
Oh, that's okay.
All filtered. Man, live demo. Yeah, so we can actually sort by that as well. You can sort by stock price. We can go low to high, and so we can find we'll say or actually it should have been 100 anyway. It shouldn't have been 10. Yeah, so you can go through and you can try to find, the right ticker for the right score. If you want a higher score, you try to find one. You can sort by IV. If you want, you can sort by collateral. You can sort by all of the different columns in here.
All right, let's go ahead and sort by score.
Sure.
And so let's say that the $10 wasn't a criteria. So I'm looking at here. So based on the score, then SMCI is your highest score for a 30-day cash secured put on Monday, is what I'm seeing right here.
Yes.
And the highest score is based on what 3 or 4 factors, so that we would understand it before we go throw our money at it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a little different. We went over the covered call scoring earlier. It's pretty much the same, except for instead of upside, it's downside protection, right? So it's trying to figure out how much below the current price, what's the distance. So you have premium income, time safety, liquidity, downside protection, and the discount on the entry, right? So how much downside protection and entry discount are pretty similar, because they're both kind of talking about how much below the current price you're going, but that's 2 different kind of ideas, right? And so it's like, okay, how much protection is there, and then how much what's the actual, if you were to get assigned at that 28 strike, your assignment price would be $27.11, and so it's a little bit further down. even in the current strike, because you're getting that. Oh yeah, it actually says it right here too in the break even. Current price in the calculation is $28 minus the 89 cents, and so.
All right. So we're all going to roll up a truck and buy some cash secured puts on SMCI on Monday. Right?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, okay.
Man.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up here in a minute. So I wanted
Sure.
to give the last thing. Hot Dog says I like the screener and the UI seems to be easy and intuitive. So he's
Thanks.
enjoying it. That's nice to see. So before we do it, we're gonna do this again. We're gonna try to do it twice a week so that we can start to drill down on certain things, and you can kind of inform the community of the things that you're working out and making more readily available. So I'm looking forward to this a lot. I appreciate the time, but I wanted to give you the kind of last chance to bring up anything that you wanted to in the entire platform that you want to either talk about or say.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you guys hanging out here on a Saturday morning and working through these things. I have a long list of bug fixes that I need to tackle right now after demoing. I did want to show off this one screen. So before we were showing the option screener. That one is cool. I think it's great when you have an idea of like what options or what you want to do. This screen is something I've worked on a lot as well. It's more of a stock screener. It's trying to try to figure out more the momentum of the technical analysis side, right? And so it's taking into account, the RSI, the MACD, the EMA, like where it's at in the EMA, like the 10, the 20, and the 50, right? So trying to figure out what the direction is going. If it's above the 10 and the 20 and the 50, then it's a super bull. And if it's below the 10, the 20, and the 50, it's in bearish mode and it's going down and to the right. Depending on how you trade, you might want to, it depends on which way you go. Some people like to bottom fish and they like to find the things that are, super down, and other people like to follow the trend and go in that direction. I put all that together to create, similarly, I create another score. You create a momentum score where it's taking into account the RSI, the weekly change, the daily change, the MACD, and the moving average. And then it will pick, it'll also show some options in here as well. So I've had that option screener for a while. And I have built this screen because I was like, people don't know. The people see the number, you see the number on the rating on the other side for SMCI, and you're like, should I actually trade at SMCI right now? Is there a reason why the premium is so high? Has the stock been beaten up and IB is really high because it's really volatile? Is it a risky stock? And try to figure out, what's the trend for the stock right now. So I put together this stock screener page to try to combine the stock screener and the other one. So you can, select a delta here and select the time frame, and that's just going to pick, this here. But yeah, I won't keep you guys too much longer. But definitely check out the stock screener as well. You can do all the same stuff you could here, where you could, do your own watch lists or whatever, and it'll pick those tickers, or if you want to have your own, pick one of the pre-selected ones.
All right, so I do want to say if you're not already using his tool and you want to sign up, I know that ROD has an affiliate link.
Yes.
It doesn't cost you anything more or require anything from you. So I would just encourage you all to go ahead and use his link. There is the link. Rob has been kind enough to put it in there. So go ahead and use his link. Sign up. It's free for the first 2 weeks, and you get all the tools, so you get to play around it. Rob is extremely communicative. You can reach out to him on X, maybe even through here. If there's a question that you have, I'm sure when he has a moment within the other 9,000 things that he does, that he'll get back to you to try to help. And then once a week, so we're going on Saturdays and on Wednesdays. So once a week on the Wednesday event, Rob is going to go ahead and extend that free trial to one person for what did we say, 60 days?
Yeah, let's do that. We can do 60. Let's do it.
that gives somebody a chance really to get into it and do that. So we'll do that basically once a week to somebody who has like the best question. So whoever Rob picks is like, oh, I love that question, or I love that suggestion. We're going to go ahead and give that out to somebody to be able to dive deeper into it. Rob, I so appreciate your time. Just thrilled about this tool. It's helping me make better decisions and look at trades in a different way. So I'm very grateful.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. Greatly appreciate that. I'm
All right.
happy. I'm really happy to hear that it's that you're using it and it's helping too. That's why I made it. So that's great to hear.
And then we'll continue to do this in the voice channel because it's easiest for Rob to be able to share his screen. So I'm sorry about the last minute shakeup from doing the stage to this one. When I can get the stage figured out, we'll hop back on over there. But until we do, so at this moment, Jake says, Rob, you're one of the best. We appreciate you. So that's really nice. Anything you want to say before we click off, Rob?
No, just thanks, guys, and feel free to, just like you said, feel free to tag me, and on the options channel, or feel free to DM me on here or on Twitter at Rob O'Toole, and I'm happy to build any of your crazy harebrained ideas that we can come up with together. I'm happy to build stuff. I'm a big stock nerd, obviously, options nerd, so I'm down to build all kinds of cool tools. And selfishly, I've been really building this for myself. So as I go through things and try to explain it, I'm like, oh man, my crazy brain and how I think about building these things might not make sense for most people. So I appreciate any and all feedback if stuff looks weird and doesn't make sense to you or is confusing.
Well, I think it's a beautiful brain, and we need brains like yours to be able to do things like this because it's not something that I or others would be able to do. I appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your weekend. For those people who joined, I hope you found some value in it. Go ahead and either in the comments or in the option sections, tag me with things that you want to make sure that we cover in this as we go forward on this series. And with that, I'm just so very grateful and thankful to all of you. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, same. Thanks all.
Bye-bye.